You're right there, folks. This video is going to be about football. That's soccer, to people who say that. And it's going to be about Scottish football as well. So everyone turn off. Regular subscribers don't know what you're going to do about this one. But anyway, Scottish football. Now, we all know Scottish football's shit, okay? I mean, let's be honest. It's shit, okay? Take Rangers and Celtic out of the league to make it more competitive. You've just gutted the league. And the old firm as well have dominated football since before the 20th century began. I mean, in the 20th century, something like 90 of the 100 titles were won by the old firm. Since the SPL was formed 10 years ago, every single title has gone to either Celtic or Rangers. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. How many points ahead are they right now? We've got to the split stage of the season, right? If you follow Scottish football, you know what the hell I'm talking about. And Celtic are on 74 points, Rangers on 73 points, Hearts, the third place team, are on 54 points. They're 19 points behind the second place team. I mean, that is the goal. I mean, if you actually take the old firm out of it, there is some kind of competition going on there. But the problem is you take the old firm out of it, as there's been proposals and scheme, they can play in the Premier League or whatever in England. It's going to gut Scottish football. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to devalue the Scottish League also. And you know what? If a team wins the Scottish Premier League, it's going to be like, well, you're not really Scottish champions, are you? Because we know that Rangers or Celtic, whoever's finished highest in the English League, we know that they're the real champions, and you're not really the champions, are you? So it really is a bad idea to move the old firm out, but there's really no competition. Also, the split league format they operate at the moment is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You've got 12 teams in the top flight. If they play each other 4 times, it's 44 games, so it's too many games. They play each other twice, it's 22 games, it's too few games. If they play each other thrice, it's 33 games, which is a good number, but then you're playing twice away or twice at home against one opponent, and it's stupid. It's ridiculous, really. They play 46 games in the Championship, League 1 and League 2 in England, but the thing is, with the top flight, the Premier League, they play less games, and in Scotland, the SPL, guess what? The teams at the top are going to be having long cup runs and stuff, playing at a much higher level of football. You know, they can't really afford to be playing 44 games in a season, so you've got the split league format. Whereas, if you don't know, after 33 games, every team playing each other thrice, this league splits in 2, and this set of the league, they play everyone within that half, and this set of the league, they play everyone in this half. It's a stupid situation when you get teams finishing 8th that actually have more points than the team that's finished 6th or 5th. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. The whole thing's stupid. And even though the division's quite small, 12 teams, there's really no competition, because the competition for the title is between Celtic and Rangers. There is no other competition. In fact, unless I'm mistaken, the last time a non-old firm team won the league was back when Ferguson was in charge of Aberdeen in the 80s. In the 80s, it is absurd. But you've got. There's no real competition at the bottom of the league. There's no real competition at the top of the league. So here's a few proposals. Tell me what you think on how to make the league a bit more interesting. If you keep it at 12 teams, and that's the point as well. You can't have more teams in the league, like 18 teams or 20 teams in the top division, in order to have a home and away game. And it's like the Premier League, and they play each other like 30 odd times, because there's not enough strength in the Scottish League, let's face it, to warrant a league of that size. So anyway, here's a few proposals. Tell me what you think. One proposal: keep 12 teams in the SPL, but maybe the bottom 4 teams all go into a relegation fight. Okay. Now, basically, how this would work probably is the 12th place team and the 9th place team would have a playoff game, and the 10th place team and the 11th place team would have a playoff game. Okay, so in other words, if you're at the bottom of the table, it's probably, and you're going to end up in this bottom 4 playoff zone, it's probably in your best interests to try and get as many wins as possible, because if you finish 12th, you're going to be playing a 9th place team, so it's probably going to be a harder match than if you finish 10th or 11th. Obviously, the teams like 8th, 7th, 6th, etc. are going to be in the relegation battle too, because they could go down into the bottom 4 zone. Now, we've got 2 possibilities. The losers of those 2 matches are relegated, and the winners are not relegated. Or the losers then have to play each other, and the loser of that match is relegated, and the winner of that match has to play a playoff against the second place team from the first division. So that's two variations on the same scheme, and I think that's a lot more interesting because it keeps it a lot more open. And even if you're bottom of the table, you've still got incentive to win and play your games and fight, because if you get slightly higher in the relegation zone, you'll probably get an easier match. Teams mid-table are going to be dragged into the relegation zone. It's quite interesting. Then how to keep it interesting at the top. One possibility, I think it's harder to keep it interesting at the top, but one possibility is to have the top 8 teams. So you've got the bottom 4 teams in the playoff zone at the bottom. The top 8 teams, after 33 games, split off into an SPL Challenge Cup. Have a random draw each round, or you could just say first versus fifth, second versus sixth, etc. Either way you do it, basically the top 8 teams go into a knockout competition, probably over 2 legs. The winners go through to a semi-final, the semi-finalists go through to the final, and the winner wins the SPL Challenge Cup. That might seem a bit redundant, but the season's only going to be 33 games long, and if you get to the final, 36, you would still have the league champion, the ones who finish top, but you'd also have the Challenge Cup champion, the SPL Challenge Cup champion. Because think about it, in Scotland, what you got is the Scottish Cup, which is great, it's equivalent to the FA Cup. You've got the Premier Division title, same as in England, and you've got the League Cup, same as in England. But the League Cup in Scotland is basically pointless. It's a really shitty competition, the League Cup. I just don't see the point of it. And so what I'm thinking is, what you could have in Scotland is the teams in the first, second, and third division, plus the 2 teams from the Premier Division that got promoted the last year round. So that's 32 teams. Go into a knockout competition, 32, 16, 8, 4, 1, with 2 legs over each game except the final. That would be the League Cup, because that's the cup for the league. You'd have all the league members plus the 2 Premier League teams that got promoted from the previous season, say. So that's the cup for the league. Then the cup for the Premier Division would be the Challenge Cup at the end, the teams that finish in the top 8. And then you would have the Scottish Cup for the whole thing, for the Premier League and the league and any amateur teams that enter. Which seems to me to be a fairly decent system, because you've got the League Cup, because in this country now we've got the League Cup, but we've also got like the League Trophy for like the non-championship, non-Premier League sides. It's crazy. In Scotland you could have a similar situation though. League Cup for the league teams, Challenge Cup for the top 8 teams at the end of the season in the Premier Division, the Scottish Cup for all the teams, and then you've got the league title itself. I think that would make the Scottish League far more interesting, because you've got half the table in a relegation fight, a massive patch in the middle fight, not just for relegation but in the Challenge Cup spots, and you've kind of evened it up a bit. You know, you tell me what you think. You could have another possibility where, I'm almost out of time, where, oh, what? What's the other possibility? Oh, maybe you have 10 teams. You restructure the league so there's 10 teams in the top flight, and you go back to, you know, the 36 games, but you could still have the sort of bottom 4 relegation zone, and then maybe the top 8 teams go into the Challenge Cup, which would be quite interesting, because the Challenge Cup spots and the relegation zone spots would actually overlap. So you'd have some teams fighting for the Challenge Cup and for relegation, and that might make the relegation battle a bit more interesting, because those teams are going to have a harder time of it. So, you know, there are some possibilities and ideas. Tell me what you think, unless you haven't fallen asleep yet. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing this shirt because it's my football team. What football team is it? Can you tell from the crest? Do you know what club that is? Yes, Brentford Super Bees. We secured not only promotion but the League 2 title today, so we're going up to League 1 next year. Fantastic, brilliant. Anyway, tell me what you reckon. See you later.